Hey guys, welcome back. So spring's almost here in Michigan. We're supposed to be getting a few more inches of snow tonight. But with that, it's almost time to kind of get the spring food plots ready. And I just wanted to go over what I've been doing, what works for me, maybe see, what works for you guys too in the comments. But it's really not that complicated. I know that there's a lot of YouTube videos out there with people kind of breaking down everything you need to do, the seed that you need, kind of how you should be positioning everything, when you should be planting. And I just wanted to go over, hey, I think clover's a really good food plot material or type of green for deer, and just go from there. We'll see how it ends up. All right, let's get to it. This is a clover food plot I did 2 years ago. Kind of hard to tell, hey, I can't really see a whole lot. What's going on? Well, it's still winter here. But if we really get down in here, you can see all the clover still pretty green. The deer come in here even during the winter, munch on it all the time. I can get them on the trail camera right over there. And all during the winter, they're still out here. As there's a little bit of green up, some stuff growing, they're just gonna be munching on it and be happy. And I think that's the first big takeaway is it isn't rocket science to make a good food plot. So many times we see deer come up to even our backyard or definitely in the gardens, and they'll just start eating everything. So we have to put fences up or deterrents or things like that to keep them out of here. And I think that that's kind of the big thing here. Why fight nature? That clover itself, really good in protein, a lot of other nutrients, and the deer love it. Super easy, broadcast it out. During the springtime, mow down as low as you can, and just go from there. Just throw it out. There's frost seeding you can do during March or early April, wherever you're at, and this stuff's gonna grow like crazy. This used to be all woods in here. Cleared it all out, started mowed it all the way down, and then just planted clover, and this stuff grows back, and I swear it's like a foot tall, and it's like just green carpet everywhere. This whole place comes alive with the clover. Don't need to use any Roundup, don't even need to, there's no point in fighting the weeds. You know that there's gonna be weeds that come back, but if you can plant enough clover and overseed it, that's gonna compete with the other weeds and kind of suppress them. So I think that's a big takeaway is don't fight nature, and there's nothing wrong with starting with clover. Another spring tip that some people don't think about or think, it's not really worth it, but fruit trees. I mean, this is a peach fruit tree here. This is like 2 years old. This will be budding out in maybe, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that once spring's here. And then I got 2 apple trees over here to pollinate each other. And I already know, hey, this is gonna be awesome for them. What kind of deer doesn't want to just come in here and eat peaches, eat apples? I know that they're gonna be just destroying these trees, but that's why I got them. Go to a store, get some cheap fruit trees and plant them out here. Like this is another thing you can do in the springtime. Get them in the ground, go to your Lowe's, Home Depot, or even your nurseries. Start planting a bunch of fruit trees. It's gonna turn out great. Once you get them established, zero maintenance. Super easy. There's just the first few years you got to get them through, so you can always put like a cage around them or steel wire, things like that. I put these tree guards around them just so that like mice and voles during the winter won't just eat all around the trunk and kill it. But that's the other thing too. The deer, they're gonna come in here. You can see they took off one of those limbs. Some of these are eaten, but these things are gonna bounce back in the spring and they're gonna go crazy. So definitely look into fruit trees in your plots. It's the gift that keeps on giving. Another thing to think of too during the spring is, how is your property set up? Are you like the food source? Is your property the water source? Is it like a bedding area? Is it maybe all three? For me, I've set this up where there's a lot of bedding area that I haven't touched. I leave that be. I just want to leave it undisturbed, where does can bed down and bucks can bed down even further from there. I just got done doing a huge pond where there's tons of wildlife, tons of deer that are going there to drink just daily, right? Like that's the water hole. That must be where all the gossip happens with all the deer, and they're always talking. So that's another thing to think of during the spring is how do you want to position your property, especially with other properties around you? What's going to bring deer to your property and make them stay? and want to stay there and want to, you know, be there during all seasons. Something to think about. Another spring tip with, you know, starting with clover, maybe looking into fruit trees in the spring, is nut trees. So I decided to go all in on chestnuts here. I got a huge grove here of chestnut trees. These are, I think, in year 2, maybe start of year 3. So you can see the conduit here, the tubing to keep them upright during crazy winds and stuff during the winter. But I got some chestnuts back in here, chestnuts that are growing over there. And this is just a really good opportunity to bring even more deer in for even more food that they normally wouldn't get here. Something that really sets this property apart. There's no other properties around here, especially in the place in Michigan with some good chestnuts here. So if you're not familiar with chestnuts, these are real hybrid chestnut trees. Just really sought after for just their sweet taste. Nothing like, you know, like a white oak acorn or even like a dark walnut, you know, bitter walnut like that. Like, these are really sweet. This is like candy to the deer. So just another thing to think of this spring. Hey, while you're maybe mowing down your grass and maybe just broadcasting some clover to have this grow, why not go all on out and just start doing some nut trees? You know, you could do some oaks, you could do some walnuts, you could do pecans, you know, you could do whatever you want, but chestnuts is really where it's at. These are going to get 40 to 50 feet tall. They're going to be huge canopy and just drop chestnuts every year, especially during the fall. But the work starts now in the springtime to get these into the ground. And I think the biggest takeaway, and really the last one, is just get out here and do it. So many times people say, I'm just new to hunting, or, you know, I haven't really grown anything before. You know, starting with clover, super easy. You can't mess it up. You throw it on the ground, it's gonna grow. Same thing with the fruit trees. Do your research, see what grows in your zone, and start throwing those into the ground. And if you see here, this is the new pond I had excavated. So it was originally like a 1/4 acre. I had it expand back here, and so there's tons of clay that's been dug up, and it's just a muddy mess right now. You know, it was late fall, almost early winter when it was being completed, and so nothing was able to grow. So I have a whole canvas here to work with on what I want this to look like. And I bought a bunch of clover and alfalfa. Bought, I think, like 20-25 pounds worth of clover and alfalfa, and I'm just gonna get in here probably, I don't know, maybe in the next 2 weeks, maybe around mid-March or end of March, once things start to kind of dry out. It's just everything's waterlogged right now. But to just start broadcasting a bunch of clover and alfalfa. Yeah, it's a lot of clay soil, but if you look into alfalfa and clover, no problem growing in that stuff. I mean, I could either leave it be and just let other weeds grow in that I know is going to happen, or I can try to be a little bit proactive, toss out a bunch of clover and alfalfa, let those kind of do their thing, and choke out all the other weeds to turn this into a huge, you know, half-acre food plot, if not more, you know, all along here, all along the bend there, and right in front of the deer blind I built. And they're gonna love this stuff. They're gonna have a water source, they're gonna have clover for the protein, they're gonna have alfalfa to chew down on, and there's gonna be, you know, trails that I've created during the winter and spring here. Just put in the work now to make this stuff grow. I think the biggest takeaway is to just do it. There should be nothing holding you back. If you have the property, if you have the time, just go wild. You'll make it happen. So those are my takeaways. Let me know what you think, what you've done, what works for you, and talk soon. Catch you later. See ya.